Now, in more measures that has now been taken by the Karnataka government to further strengthen the lockdown measures, there have been several stringent measures that have now been put in place, especially in the Dakshina Kannada region, which has, of course, reported a large number of cases of positive coronavirus. Now, the administration is taking quite a lot of stringent measures to reduce the movement of people on ground, which has also been completely banned. This also, remember, includes the private vehicles movement, which remains banned. They're also now restricting the movement of people on the streets as well. Now, what we are given to understand is that people will be allowed to come out on foot to purchase groceries from only 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. So, a lot of measures being put in place at this point to restrict the movement of people, and their movement needs to be restricted to further curb the spread of coronavirus. Meanwhile, the movement of private vehicles has already been banned. So, this is another measure that has now been put in place because a number of cases has now come to light from the Dakshina Kannada region, and hence, in order to strengthen the lockdown measures that have been put in place, further measures and further steps have been now taken by the Karnataka government to further curb the spread of coronavirus. What we're also given to understand that in the rest of the district, mainly for people traveling from villages to buy essentials, two-wheelers, autos and jeeps that are normally hired to ferry items will be allowed. So some exceptions that have also been made at this point from the side of the Karnataka government for all those living in the Dakshina Kannada region. We'll try and get more updates of what is allowed and what are these measures that have now been put in place. But these measures have essentially come to light with the rising number of cases of coronavirus that has been reported from the Dakshina Kannada region in the Karnataka state. And we're also looking at more measures that the Karnataka government has now put in place, which also now includes restricting the movement of people and putting a complete ban on the movement of the private vehicles at this point. Now, more updates that we are getting it at this point. The Karnataka government has now declared at least 5 districts, which includes the capital city of Bengaluru, as red zones or areas which have become coronavirus hotspots or in the state due to the rising number of cases of coronavirus. Let me go across to my colleague Neha Hebale, who's joining me live, getting us further updates on this. Neha, two important aspects. Let's first look at the red zones that have now been identified by the Karnataka government. Now, we understand Bengaluru city is also under the red zone because of the number of cases. What are the measures that have been put in place in these 5 districts? Which are these districts, and what are the measures now that they have been identified as red zones?
Yes, Apurva, in fact, these are the red zones that the government of Karnataka will be declaring for 5, districts. Keeping in mind the fact, first let's tell you how they've derived the name red zones. It is because of the large number of people that are in home quarantine in these zones, or the large number of, cases that are being reported from these districts. Now, to quickly take a look at these districts, they're basically, you have Bengaluru urban, you have Dakshina Kannada, Uttar Kannada, and Chikballapur as well in these districts. So these are the districts that are going to be monitored more cautiously. Now, when we say monitored, let's take the example of Dakshina Kannada. They have decided to completely shut down all essentials after 12 p.m. So it's only from 7 to 12 that people will be allowed to come out, that too not in their vehicles, only on foot, purchase their essential items and then head back home. So that's one. Secondly, they've also in fact ensured that people do not come out, which is why they banned the movement of private vehicles across Mangaluru city, and it's only in the rural parts of the district that people will be allowed to come out on two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and on other vehicles. They can hitch a ride, come to the city, purchase their items, and then head back. So following this, now many other districts will also be seeing some sort of restrictions being put in place. In Bengaluru also, we're seeing that despite the lockdown, despite Section 144 being imposed, there are still many people that are coming out to the streets. So we'll have to see if more stringent measures are used over here. But also now we're understanding that the Bidar district, where 11 people had tested positive after visiting Nizamuddin, the Markaz Tablighi Jamaat
So
congregation.
important measures being put in place by the Karnataka government at this point to further curb the spread of coronavirus. Neha, many thanks for joining us and bringing us all those updates.